Good morning, class. We are studying electrostats, in which this lecture is 19th lecture, and in last lecture we'll discuss about flux. Basically, flux is nothing but electric field lines passing from any given area, and we'll derive two different formulas of flux. It is flux is equals to closed integral E vector dot dA vector, and another formula of flux is q net by epsilon naught, where q net is net charge on Gaussian surface. This q net is net charge on Gaussian surface. I hope you all remember. One more thing is there. If we'll open this, it will be E dA cos theta, which will be equals to q net by epsilon naught. So here theta is nothing but angle between electric field vector and area vector. And I already tell you, my dear student, we'll consider regular Gaussian surface. If we'll consider regular Gaussian surface, then each part, or we can say each point on Gaussian surface from the charge is of same distance. So electric field becomes constant, and we know that from integration constant comes outside. So it will be E closed integral dA, and direction of electric field and area vector for regular Gaussian surface remains same. So we know that cos 0, it is equals to q net by epsilon naught. So E integral dA is equals to q net by epsilon naught. We know that integration of dA is A, so E into A q net by epsilon naught. Now see beta, A is basically area of Gaussian surface. So you have to remember 3-4 things in this formula. First thing is, always electric field remains constant. So electric fields comes outside from integration, first thing. Second thing, angle between area vector and electric field always 0. So cos 0 is 1. And instead of q net, you must remember q net is nothing but net charge inside the Gaussian surface. We'll already see that if a dipole system is placed in a Gaussian surface, let's suppose this is our Gaussian surface and a dipole system is placed. So we know that dipole system carry two charges equal in magnitude but opposite in convention. So for this flux will be q net by epsilon naught. So q plus q minus q by epsilon naught. So flux is equals to 0. We already discussed about these things. Now moving forward, let's suppose, my dear student, we have a group of charges. Write down flux through group of charges. Write down heading flux through group of charges. Flux through group of charges. Flux through group of charges. So if we have group of charges, my dear student, flux through group of charges, our topic is flux through group of charges. So let's suppose we have group of charges like this. Let's suppose we have one Gaussian surface S1, let's say. Inside this, let's say, is q1. One charge is q2, other charge is minus q3, one charge is here, it is q4. Let's suppose we have another Gaussian surface q5. Let's suppose this surface is S2. We have one more surface S3, one more charge, let's suppose minus q6. So this is basically group of charge, my dear student. Here we have 6 charges and 3 different Gaussian surfaces. These are Gaussian surfaces. S1, S2 and S3. In this scenario, if charges are outside the Gaussian surface, remember one thing, if charges are away from Gaussian surface, or we can say outside the Gaussian surface, then for those charges the flux is considered to be 0. Remember this thing. I'll make note, if charges are outside the Gaussian surface, then for those charges, the value of flux is always equals to 0. The value of flux is always equals to, remember one thing my dear student, those charges which are present inside the Gaussian surface, we are only capable to find their flux, remember this thing, their flux. So flux through S1 can be write as Q net by epsilon naught. So find out the value of Q net, Q1 plus Q2 minus Q3. So Q1 plus Q2 minus Q3 by epsilon naught is the value of flux through surface S1. Similarly, for surface S2, it is Q net by epsilon naught. So net charge, only one charge is present inside the surface S2. So it is Q5 by epsilon naught. So this is the value of electric flux through surface S2. Similarly, if I am talking about flux through surface S3, it is Q net by epsilon naught. So flux through surface S3 becomes equals to 0 because no charge is present inside the S3 surface. So I hope you understand this thing, that if charges are present inside the Gaussian surface, then only flux is defined. If charges are away from the Gaussian surface, or we can say outside the Gaussian surface, for those charges the value of flux is said to be 0. If charges are not present inside the Gaussian surface, then my dear student, it is not possible to find the flux, because we know that flux is nothing but Q net by epsilon naught. Q net by epsilon naught, net charge inside the Gaussian surface divided by epsilon naught. So I hope you all understand through this example that if charges are present inside the Gaussian surface, then flux is possible to find. But if charges are not present inside the Gaussian surface, then for those charges the value of flux is considered to be 0. Simple and very easy thing. Now moving forward, let us discuss one example. Let's suppose we have a cuboid, my dear student, and a charge is placed inside the cuboid. We have to find the value of flux through each face of the cuboid. Write down question. If charge is placed at the center of cuboid, write down the question. If charge is placed at the center of cuboid, if charge is placed at the center of cuboid, let's suppose charge is placed here, my dear student, at the center of cuboid, then flux, find the value of flux, through each face. Find the value of flux through each face. Find the value of flux through each face. Find the value of flux through each face. See, my dear student, we know that charge is present at the center of cuboid. So if I am taking the sides of cuboid A, B, C, D, E, F, G and H, we know that if charge is present at the center of cuboid, then distance from each face of the charge remains same. And we know that the value of flux is nothing but Q net by epsilon naught. Now see, they are saying that find the flux through each face. So simple, very easy. Remember one formula, flux through each face, phi is equals to Q net by n epsilon naught, where n is nothing but number of face. See, this formula is only valid if charge is present at the center of the structure. So here we have structure is in form of cuboid and this charge is placed at the center of cuboid. So my dear student, remember this thing, if charge is present at the center of cuboid, then electric field lines which are coming out from the charge is passes equal by number through each face, equal by number through each face. And we know that total number of faces for a cuboid is, total number of face for a cuboid is 6. So simple, flux through each face is Q by 6 epsilon naught. Simple, very easy. Calculate the total number of faces. So total number of faces is 6. So flux through each face is Q by epsilon naught. Q by 6 epsilon naught. This formula is only valid. Q net by n epsilon naught is only valid, my dear student. Remember this, if the charges are placed at the center of any structure, at the center of any structure. So here charge is placed at the center of structure. That's why I'll write phi is equals to Q net by n epsilon naught. We know that flux is nothing but number of electric field lines passing from any given area. So number of electric field lines passing from each face if the charge is present at the center is same. That's why I'll write flux is equals to Q net by n epsilon naught, where n is number of phase. I hope you all understand this concept. Now moving forward, we'll come out with last topic of first chapter, electric charge and electric field. Write down application of Gauss's theorem, in which we'll find the value of electric field through the concept of electric flux. Write down application of Gauss's theorem, in which we have to find electric field. Write down electric field due to continuous charge. I already tell you continuous charge means those charges which are present on continuous body, and continuous bodies are those body whose physical parameter are out of any three, which is length, area and volume. Their masses depends on physical parameter. On the basis of that, we'll distribute continuous charge into three types. First is linear charge density, second is surface charge density, and third is volume charge density. So I hope you all understand this thing. Electric field due to continuous charge by electric flux. So my dear student, write down first application, it is electric field due to a hollow spherical shell. Write down electric field due to a hollow spherical shell. Electric field due to a hollow spherical shell. My dear student, we know that hollow spherical shell means nothing but a surface whose inside is vacant and outer surface is given. So let's suppose we have a hollow spherical shell. I'll write here, consider a hollow spherical shell. Consider a hollow spherical shell of radius A. Hollow spherical shell of radius A. We know that the physical parameter of hollow sphere is area. So the charge which is present on hollow sphere is always on its outer surface area. So let's suppose total charge on hollow spherical shell is equals to Q. We are considering, my dear student, that we have a hollow sphere whose radius is A, and this hollow sphere some charge Q is present, and we know that the hollow sphere, inside the hollow sphere nothing is present, and to stuck charge we need surface. So the charge on hollow sphere is always on its outer surface, my dear student. So we have q charge and we'll put this charge on this hollow spherical shell whose radius is a, then this charge is spreaded over its surface area. So I'll write here the physical parameter of hollow spherical shell is area, hence charge is distributed all over on its surface area. So my dear student, this charge is distributed all over on the surface area of hollow sphere. Now what we have to find? We have to find electric field at any point P due to this hollow spherical shell carry charge Q on its surface area. So I'll write here, we have to find electric field. We have to find electric field at any point P, x distance from the center of hollow sphere. So my dear student, what we have to do? We have to find the value of electric field due to this hollow sphere at any point P, which is x distance from the center of hollow sphere. So we have, in this situation, we have three cases. See, my dear student, case 1 is if P lies outside. Now see, my dear student, the radius of hollow sphere is a and we are considering P is at x distance from the center of hollow sphere. So if P lies outside and we'll take the distance of P from center is x, then it is but obvious that x is greater than radius of hollow sphere, x is greater than a. Similarly, we'll discuss case 2 if P lies inside. So if P lies inside, my dear student, then it is but obvious that if we are considering radius of hollow sphere to be a and P lies inside and the distance of P from center is considering x, so x is less than a. And case 3, it is P lies on the surface. So if P lies on the surface of hollow sphere, then we must know that x, that is distance of P from origin and radius, becomes equal to each other. So we'll discuss in this topic, we'll discuss three different cases. First case is if P lies outside, that is x is greater than a. Second case, if P lies inside, then x is less than a. And third, if P lies on the surface, which is x is equals to a. Moving forward, we'll discuss turn by turn. First case, write down case 1 if P lies inside. Let's suppose first case we will discuss as P lies inside the Gaussian surface. So it is very simple to find the value of electric field due to this method. Discussing case first, and our case first is x is less than a, that is P lies inside the surface of hollow sphere. So my dear student, this is our hollow sphere whose radius is a, in which q charge is present, and we know that inside the hollow sphere nothing is present because there is no any surface inside the hollow sphere. It is empty space. So let's suppose P lies inside the hollow sphere. So P is we are taking distance of P from center is x. So step 1, my dear student, you have to understand step by step things. The point where you wish to find electric field, just enclose that point with Gaussian surface. I'm repeating once again, the point where you wish to find electric field, enclose that point with Gaussian surface. So I'm enclosing this point with a Gaussian surface, and the Gaussian surface must be spherical here. So this is our spherical Gaussian surface. Spherical Gaussian surface. I'll enclose point P where we wish to find electric field. We know that how to apply Gauss's law for finding flux or finding electric field, my dear student. So P is a point where you wish to find electric field. So you have to enclose that point with Gaussian surface. Gaussian surface is an imaginary surface. So here we are considering spherical Gaussian surface. Now moving to formula, it is closed integral E vector dot dA vector, which is equals to Q net by epsilon naught. So it is but obvious, we will write it by opening it. So E dA cos theta is equals to Q net by epsilon naught. I already tell you, angle between E and dA is always 0, no need to think, and electric field is constant. So electric field comes outside, dA is equals to Q net by epsilon naught. So E into A is area of Gaussian surface and Q net is charge on Gaussian surface. This is charge on Gaussian surface and A is area of Gaussian surface. So Gaussian surface is spherical. We know that area of sphere is always 4 pi r square, and here the radius of Gaussian surface is x. So I'll write 4 pi x square. Now see, my dear student, Q is charge on Gaussian surface. You are seeing here there is no any charge present inside the Gaussian surface. No charge is present inside the Gaussian surface. So if no charge is present inside the Gaussian surface, then it is simple that Q is considered to be 0. In that case, E into 4 pi x square is equals to 0. So electric field inside the hollow spherical shell is always equals to 0. Inside the electric field, inside the hollow sphere, the value of electric field is always equals to 0. I hope you all are getting my point. I'll write here inside the hollow spherical shell, value of electric field is equals to 0. So I hope you all understand how to apply Gauss's law for finding electric field. Now moving forward, we'll discuss case 2, my dear student. Write down case 2. If point P lies outside. If point P lies outside. So if point P are lying outside, then what is the value of electric field? Let us check out. Case 2 is if point P lies outside. I'll write here case 2, if P lies outside. So if P lies outside, then it is but obvious that x is greater than A. So we have a hollow sphere. Let's suppose this is our hollow sphere and the radius of hollow sphere is considering A, and the charge on hollow sphere is Q, which is distributed uniformly all over on its surface. So total charge is Q. Now we are saying that we have to find electric field at point P, which is x distance apart, and this point P is basically outside the hollow sphere. So we know that what is our step? Step 1 is just make a Gaussian surface in such a manner that all the electric field lines which comes out from the surface is enclosed, is basically passed through that Gaussian surface. So what we have to do, we'll make a imaginary Gaussian surface in such a manner that all the electric field lines which comes out from this surface can pass through the Gaussian surface. So this is our Gaussian surface. I'll make Gaussian surface spherical in shape. So this is our spherical Gaussian surface. Spherical Gaussian surface. So this is our spherical Gaussian surface, my dear student. So if I'll make spherical Gaussian surface, then see, formula is closed integral E vector dot dA vector is equals to Q net by epsilon naught. I already tell you, we'll open this, it will be right as E dA cos theta is equals to Q net by epsilon naught. Now electric field is always constant, it will becomes outside and theta must be 0 degree, as Gaussian surface is regular by shape, hence area vector and electric field is always in same direction, is equals to q net by epsilon naught. So we'll write E into A is equals to q net by epsilon naught. So A is area of Gaussian surface, and we know that Gaussian surface is spherical whose area is 4 pi r square. Instead of r we'll write x because the radius of our Gaussian surface is x. So 4 pi x square. Now see, q net is charge inside the Gaussian surface. So this is your Gaussian surface. So inside this Gaussian surface, the total charge is equal to total charge present on hollow spherical shell. Remember, this is our Gaussian surface. Q net is nothing but net charge inside the Gaussian surface. So inside the Gaussian surface, total charge is basically Q, which is total charge present on hollow spherical shell. So I'll write here Q by epsilon naught. So the value of electric field is Q by 4 pi x square epsilon naught. This is the value of electric field if point P lies outside the Gaussian surface. Q by 4 pi epsilon naught. Instead of 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught, we'll also write K. So it is E is equals to KQ by x square. This is the value of electric field if point P lies outside the Gaussian, if point P lies, away outside the hollow spherical shell. Now case third, if point P lies on the surface. Write down case 3. I hope you all understand. It is basically very easy concept. So next case is if P lies on the surface. If P lies on the surface. Case 3, if P lies on the surface. So here comes case 3. If P lies on the surface. So if P lies on the surface, then it is but obvious to understand that distance of P and radius of hollow spherical shell becomes equal. So this is our hollow spherical shell whose radius is, my dear student, A, and charge is present. Total number of charge which is present on this hollow spherical Gaussian surface is Q, and P point is present on the surface which is x distance apart. Now what is the process? You have to enclose the point where you wish to find electric field by a Gaussian surface. So it is but obvious that Gaussian surface must be spherical in shape. So I'll write here Gaussian surface, and this surface is spherical. So I'll write spherical Gaussian surface. Now moving forward, the formula is close integral E vector dot dA vector is equals to Q net by epsilon naught, and we know that Q net means total charge on Gaussian surface. It will be write as E dA cos theta is equals to Q net by epsilon naught. Theta is always 0 and electric field is always constant. So electric field comes out from integration. It will be E dA is equals to Q net by epsilon naught, and we know that integration of dA is A. It is Q net by epsilon naught. E means area of Gaussian surface. So it is equals to 4 pi A square, because x is equals to A. So instead of x I'll write A, so that formula become different. It is equal to Q net by epsilon naught. Now see, total charge inside the Gaussian surface is equal to total charge present on spherical shell. So spherical shell carry total charge Q. So it is E into 4 pi A square is equals to Q by epsilon naught. So E becomes equals to Q by 4 pi epsilon naught A square. Instead of 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught I'll write K. So KQ by A square is the value of electric field if point P lies on the Gaussian surface. I hope you all understand how to find electric field with the help of Gauss's law. Now moving forward, we'll discuss next topic. Write down electric field due to a solid sphere. Write down electric field due to solid sphere. Electric field due to solid sphere. Next application is electric field due to solid sphere. We are discussing now electric field due to solid sphere. So write down electric field due to solid sphere. electric field due to solid sphere. I'll write here electric field due to solid sphere. Electric field due to solid sphere. Now see my dear student, we know that the physical parameter of solid sphere is volume. So the charge which is present on a solid sphere is on its volume. Remember this thing. So physical parameter of solid sphere is volume, hence charge present on solid sphere is always on its volume, always on its volume. So my dear student, we have a solid sphere. Let's suppose the radius of solid sphere is A, and if I'll give some charge, let's suppose Q on solid sphere, then this charge is spread all over on its surface, inside and outside the solid sphere. So this is our solid sphere in which Q charge is present, and this charge is distributed uniformly all over inside and outside the solid sphere. Now we have to find electric field due to the solid sphere at any point P which is considered to be x distance apart from the center of the solid sphere. So I'll write here, we have to find electric field at point P x distance apart from the center of solid sphere. We have to find electric field due to this solid sphere at any point P which is x distance apart from the center of solid sphere. Again we are discussing two different cases. First case is case 1, if P lies outside. So my dear student, if P lies outside, then it is but obvious that x, that is distance of P from center, must be greater than A. So let's suppose there is a point P which is x distance apart from the center of solid sphere. Now what we have to do, we'll make a Gaussian surface which enclose the charge in such a manner that all the electric field lines which comes out from the surface can pass through this surface. So this is our spherical Gaussian surface. I'll write here spherical Gaussian surface. So the spherical Gaussian surface carry total charge. Inside the Gaussian surface, the charge is equals to the total charge present on solid sphere. So total charge present on solid sphere is Q. Hence the total charge in spherical Gaussian surface is also Q, because this is only the value of charge which is present inside the Gaussian surface. So moving forward, it is formula is integral E vector dot dA vector is equals to Q net by epsilon naught. So we'll write it as E dA cos theta is equals to Q net by epsilon naught. We know that theta is 0 because we are considering regular Gaussian surface, and for regular Gaussian surface, angle between electric field and area vector is always 0, is always in same direction, hence its angle is 0, and electric field is constant. Electric field comes out, so it will be E dA cos 0 is equals to, now see, Q net is total charge inside the Gaussian surface. So this is your Gaussian surface. The total charge present inside the Gaussian surface is capital Q. So I'll write Q by epsilon naught. E into integration of dA is A. So Q by epsilon naught. Instead of A, I'll write area of Gaussian surface. It is 4 pi x square is equals to Q by epsilon naught. So E is equals to Q by 4 pi epsilon naught x square. If I'll write in form of K, then it is KQ by x square. Now see my dear student, this value of electric field is similar to electric field due to a hollow sphere. Electric field due to a hollow sphere, and this value becomes same. So we'll say that if point P lies outside the Gaussian surface, remember this thing, if point P lies outside the Gaussian surface, then the solid sphere will act like a hollow sphere. Why it acts like a hollow sphere? Because the value of electric field due to hollow sphere and the value of electric field due to solid sphere, if P lies outside, is same. So write down in form of note that if P lies outside, if point P lies outside, then solid sphere will act like a hollow sphere. Solid sphere will act like a hollow sphere. Solid sphere will act like a hollow sphere. Now moving forward, my dear student, let's suppose if P lies inside. Case 2 is if P lies inside the solid sphere. So write down next heading, if P lies inside the hollow solid sphere. If P lies inside the solid sphere. So if P lies inside the solid sphere, then let's start finding electric field. So I am saying that P is present inside the solid sphere. So this is our point P, which is present inside the solid sphere. Now see, my dear student, this P lies inside the solid sphere, and inside the solid sphere charge is present. So step 1, I'll made spherical Gaussian surface. Now moving forward, we know that the formula of finding electric flux is closed integral E vector dot dA vector is equals to q net by epsilon naught. So it is E dA cos 0 is equals to q net by epsilon naught. So E is constant, integral dA is equals to q net by epsilon naught. So E into A is equals to q net by epsilon naught. So E into 4 pi x square is equals to q net by epsilon naught. Now see, my dear student, this q net is net charge present inside the Gaussian surface. Now see, my dear student, the Gaussian surface, the total charge present on solid sphere is q. I'll write here total charge on solid sphere is equals to q. Now see, my dear student, the charge on solid sphere present on its volume, because the physical parameter of solid sphere is volume. So we understand this thing that this charge is present on the volume of solid sphere. Now see, my dear student, the Gaussian surface volume and total volume of solid sphere is different. So now we cannot write directly, instead of q net we cannot write q, because this q is total charge present on total volume of solid sphere, and the solid sphere volume is 4 by 3 pi a cube, and the volume of Gaussian surface is 4 by 3 pi x cube. So this volume and this volume is different, and we know that total charge present on total volume. So we have to find the charge inside the Gaussian surface first, then we'll put that value in this q net, then only we'll get the answer. I hope you all are understanding this point, that this q is not charge or inside the Gaussian surface. This is the total charge present on, solid sphere, and we know that solid sphere carry volume. So starts finding the charge inside Gaussian surface. So we know that total volume is 4 by 3 pi a cube. So in volume 4 by 3 pi a cube, the charge is q. So in unit volume, the charge which is present is 3q by 4 pi a cube. Now we wish to find volume on this, the charge present on volume of Gaussian surface. So volume of Gaussian surface is how much, beta? 4 by 3 pi x cube. So this is the charge on total volume. This is the value of charge on 1 meter cube volume, or you can say unit volume. unit volume. We wish to find charge on this volume because this is the volume of Gaussian surface. So just multiply it with meter cube volume charge. So charge on 4 by 3 pi x cube volume. It is 3q by 4 pi a cube multiply 4 by 3 pi x cube. So 4 get cancelled, 3 get cancelled, pi get cancelled. So the value of charge becomes equals to q x cube by a cube. This is the value of charge which is present in Gaussian surface. So just put it the formula 4 pi x square is equals to q x cube by a cube into epsilon naught. So instead of e, I'll write q x cube by, see 1 and 1 get cancelled, so only x will be found, 4 pi a cube epsilon naught. So this is the value of electric field due to a solid sphere qx by 4 pi a cube epsilon naught. And now see, instead of 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught, we'll able to write k qx by a cube. This is the value of electric field due to solid sphere if the radius of solid sphere is a and point P lies inside the solid sphere. So I hope, my dear student, you all understand how to find electric field by applying Gauss's law. It is very easy to find. In next lecture, we'll complete all the applications of Gauss's theorem, or we can say Gauss's law. Thank you so much, my dear student. Stay home, stay safe, take care.